In me prime, as lazy as can be, I stepped on board a Mersey flatter number 23.
Bamalam Productions proudly presents Scuttled, Episode 2, in association with the Museum of London Archaeology and the Arts and Humanities Research Council. Directed by James Steventon. Written by Ian Winterton. With Neil Bell, Isabel Hague, Janine Lanek, Katie Moore and Paul Rigby. Produced by Kelly Griffiths, James Steventon and Ian Winterton.
It went dark with cloud. I catch me foot in stern rail and went slurring right on deck, and I went head first down SCUTTLED and it nearly broke me.
Strange to think it were here. 51 years ago, May 1871. West Orton Cotton Manufacturing Company Limited Warehouse. Whole building gone in an hour.
Dark day.
Aye, but could have been darker still.
If I hadn't taken in that runaway. Mind, if not for him, there's lots would have been different. Foxglove and Primrose was to load up on cotton. Big order, bound for the steam mill at Sowerby Bridge.
50 ton apiece it was.
Aye, you were in fine fettle. Uncle Harry and all, for a change. Even though it meant rising long before dawn broke. From the cabin I lay awake hearing both of you, singing as the boats glided across the basin and in under the warehouse's pent roof that sloped out over the water. You and he moored up and got to work loading up the bales of cotton. 100 tons, even with crane and the help of the dockers it was going to take you 6-7 hours. We'd be lucky to be underway before noon.
Crane ready? Aye.
Up at crack of dawn for me and your mam and all. Hey up, Tom, Harry. Ginger beer?
Oh, tar, Liza.
Aye.
Almost got Foxglove loaded up.
Halfway home. Primrose next. Morning, Ma.
Get on with your toil, you.
At the double. Morning, children.
Morning.
You have yourself a good time at the market, eh?
The market. And a Saturday market and all. It had been an age since we'd last been in town. Even our Becca was in good spirits. For her, any road. Oh, Rebecca. Come on, hurry your sends up.
Paul's missing a clog.
Oh, for God's sake.
Your clog, lad. Where's your clog?
Dunno, Nan.
I've got it. Here, you daft ninny.
Yeah, all right for some. It's one enough to market.
Be thou happy in thy work, Harry.
Yous all have a good time. Becca, Paul, you do as your ma tells you, eh? Eh?
Aye, da.
Becca?
Aye, I will.
And bring us some ale back, will you?
Aye. Ale!
All your veg here. Turnips, greens, penny a bunch. Oranges and all, 2 for a penny. Good morning, me lovelies. What can we get you?
Bunch of turnips.
Them looks manky.
They're fine. And a cabbage.
That big one.
Very good, young sir. Here you go.
You thank the gentleman, Paul.
Yes, Paul, say thank you.
Thank you.
Pineapple, pineapple.
Mum, Nan, Red Eli's got pineapple.
Oh, Red Eli. Called that because the colour of his face went when he got in a rage. Scared me when I were a nipper.
He was scarier then. Old, bit mad. His hair wild.
Penny a flaming slice.
Oh, Mum, pineapple, please.
Have oranges, miss. 2 a penny.
Seen better days, them oranges.
Sorry about her.
It's all right.
I'll take 2 oranges.
But, Mum, pineapple.
Here you go, Tuppeny. Paul, go with your sister, get a slice each.
Oh, thanks, Mum.
Spoiler. She's a sulky madam.
It's just a pineapple slice, Charity.
Out else, ladies?
Oh, aye, bunch of greens, pound of spuds, pound of carrots.
Bag of broad beans.
Aye, bag of broad beans and all.
Righto.
As he's bagging up our veg, I take a moment and look over at Paul and Becca. See 'em at the pineapple cart waiting their turn. And near the cart there's a young lad, Maybe 10, 11. Scruffy, barefoot, eyes all shifty looking. I know what he's about, 'cause I've been there mysen as a nipper enough times. He's after lifting a couple of them pineapple slices for himself. He looks new to it. Too hungry, too nervy. Your mum's seen him too.
He'll get himself caught, that one. Red Eli'll leather him.
Lost mouse from the workhouse, that's what they call them. Skittering themselves about in the shadows, always getting themselves caught in the traps and brung right back.
Leather him? He'll pull him limb from limb.
So, top of me lungs, I calls out,
"All right there, lad!"
Takes him a second to cop on. Ed darts about, points at himself with a, "What, who, me?" Gormless look on his face.
"Yeah, you. Come over here."
He slinks over, none too keen. Looks ready to turn tail and scarper at the slightest sound, like a lamb in the field.
"Lad, if you're gonna thieve, don't thieve off Red Eli."
Why not, eh?
Look at him, lad. Look at him.
Pineapple slices!
I wasn't going to thieve any road.
Oh, aye.
Workhouse runaways don't usually carry a lot of money. Believe me, I know. The lad narrows his eyes and gives me a good proper look. But he's heard the truth in me words. Knows he can trust me. You got a name?
Matthew.
Matthew. When'd you make a break for it? This morning, wasn't it? 'Cause you don't look like you spent a night outside yet.
This morning, they had us grinding down cow bones again, and I just said enough of this shite and ran.
Ran? From where?
Never you mind. How's that pineapple?
It's delicious.
Got most of it on your chin, lad.
Workhouse by looks of you.
Rude.
Sorry, I'm Becca. Rebecca.
I'm Matthew.
Hello, Matthew.
Did I notice it then? That they held one another's gaze just a little longer than other folks might? That my Becca was smiling for the first time in months? She was only 9. Maybe I wasn't on the lookout for the likes of that.
I ain't never had pineapple, me.
Here, try some.
Oh, so sweet.
From all the way over the ocean to here, via Salford Docks.
Thank Canal.
Railway more like charity, fruit like this.
Aye, canals are too slow.
They gets the job done all the same.
Where are you running away to?
I ain't thought that far ahead. Anywhere. Everywhere. Maybe London.
London?
London's a stinking hole full of soot and shite. So I've heard any road.
Or maybe overseas, to America, or... Oh, no. Oh, it's him.
He points. We all follow his finger across the crowded square and see him. 18 stone of huffing and puffing overfed meat stuffed into his overcoat. The workhouse warden, striding through the market square, piggy eyes scouring the crowd.
Oh, it's Fat George.
And before me or your mam or Becca can say or do out, the lad scarpers, which of course was exactly what he shouldn't have done. That warden, that Fat George, he catches the flash of him.
Oi, run away. Get back here. Get back here now and I'll go easy on you.
And that could have been that. Might never have seen that boy again. Except
Oi, wait up!
our Becca runs into the crowd after him. After that Matthew.
Rebecca! Where's daft girl going? Rebecca!
Weren't no good. Crowd swallowed her up. And that warden, that Fat George as they called him, he stomped after 'em, roaring.
Get back here now!
Then he were gone and all. Naught for us to do but head back to the wharf. Come on, our Paul. Back to Foxglove.
But our Becca.
She'll be right. Let her have her run.
Then gear her thick here as soon as she gets back.
Charity?
All the belts. I tell you, you spoil that Mardy girl.
I remember when you came back. Me and Harry was on top of the boat, fixing down the hatch boards over our cargo of cotton bales.
Hey, up! You got our ale?
Aye. First on as you wouldn't believe.
I'd believe it. Especially you, Harry Ashworth.
Aye.
You made good time.
Aye. All ready to heave off soon as the clerk signs us out.
Wherever the hell he's gone. He was here a minute ago waiting on us.
Here you go.
Oh, tar.
Thanks, love.
Can I have some, Dad?
No, you can't.
Wait till you're older, lad. 10 at least.
Older than that.
Aw,
Come to your Uncle Harry when you're 10, lad.
Harry.
Only messing.
Where's our Becca?
she ran off with a boy.
You what? Liza?
She'll be back soon enough.
Yeah, but you said boy. What boy?
It's now. Just a workhouse runaway.
Run away?
I'm going to go find that clerk. He'll be in the office having a brew out.
How old was he, this runaway?
Same age as her. Give or take a year or two.
Give or take a year or two?
He's a boy still, now to worry over.
Can I come with you, Uncle Harry?
Aye, good idea. Leave your mum and dad to it.
And that was it. Paul went off with your brother into the warehouse, that maze of pallets and pile upon pile of cotton bales. And that's where he was. Where they both was.
When it started.
Who knows how? Spark from the stove on one of the boats, maybe? Drifting on the air into the warehouse. Still glowing when it touches down on a bale.
That cotton, raw, still as sticky as when it first loaded into the ships in Jamaica. One spark was all it took.
It's then, in them few minutes from the fire starting to the alarm being raised, that our Becca comes crashing onto the wharf side, running pell-mell, holding hands with that Matthew lad, and both of them grinning. What the bloody hell?
Oi, you lad, get your hand off my daughter.
Oh, sorry, sir.
Mum, Dad, you've got to let him on board.
Oh, please, sir.
I don't think so.
Fat George is right behind us, Hilton. I can beat me black and blue, please.
Mum!
All right.
Thanks, Mum. Come on, Matthew, below.
They weren't wrong about that damn warden. There he was, trotting along, more drenched in sweat than I were from labouring, and red in face and all. But whether from rage or exertion, it was hard to tell. He reaches us and starts mopping his brow with his kerchief.
Oh, my God. I'm too bleeding low for this. How do?
Afternoon.
How do?
I'm in pursuit of a runaway child, a boy, 11-year-old. Hair like straw, skinny thing, but tall for his age. I don't suppose you've seen anyone matching that description. He was with a girl.
No runaways down here.
Could they have slipped into the warehouse without us noticing? As you can see, there's a fair number of bodies working here.
And the warehouse. Is there an opening out in the town?
Of course there is. Forecourt out back where wagons load up with cotton for local mills.
Hell.
If they've gone in warehouse, they'll be well away by now.
We'll see about that. Matthew Moreland, if you can hear me, I can tell you that you're in violation of a minimum of 40 rules in the Hollingworth Workhouse Code of Conduct. If you can turn yourself in now, I'll lessen your punishment.
The fat old fool stops in his tracks, sniffs the air, and I hear him mutter,
Smoke.
and then it comes. The alarm.
Fire!
Oh, Mother Mary! Tom, where's Paul?
We Harry, in there.
Bloody hell.
Tom, Paul! We've got to get Paul!
Aye, I'll fetch him. But I need you and Becca to cast off and get the boat away. That's cotton in there. This whole warehouse is going up.
I watched you leap off the boat onto the jetty, then run into that building. Already the smoke was thick, and the wind at its back was billowing out towards us. I saw Fat George, one hand clamping his handkerchief over his nose and mouth, come towards me. What are you doing?
Help him, madam. Help him.
You know boats? I see from the way he gawps at me that he does not. Get out my way! I untie the moorings on Harry's Primrose, give it a good shove, set it on its way, drifting out into the basin, then cast Foxglove off and jump on board, pushing away with my feet.
Wait for me.
Fat George steps up, almost misjudges how fast Foxglove is moving away. I catch his podgy hand and pull him in.
Oh, thank you, my good woman.
Then, clinging onto the side of the boat beside the workhouse warden, I look out into the smoke. Black flecks of burnt cotton fibres twisting and dancing within it. And inside the warehouse, the fierce orange of the flames growing ever larger and louder. No sign of you or Paul or Harry, and I say a silent prayer. But in that moment, all I know is I'd done my job. Both boats are away, safe, and their precious cargo with them.
The smoke, so thick I couldn't see or breathe. So I drops to my knees to where the air is clear for a foot. On my hands and knees, I crawl along in that gap, the grey-black smoke rolling above my head. The heat's getting unbearable now, and I don't want to believe it, but I realise then the awful truth. There's nothing I can do. I stop crawling, and I'm about to start heading backwards when the roof timbers start coming down. I scramble back, but part of the debris catches my shoulder. My shirt's afire, my skin and all, pain like nothing before nor since. I put the flames out, flesh on my hands sizzles a moment. But it's enough, for me at least. But Paul, Harry, I've failed them. All I can do is save myself.
The kick I'd given Foxglove off the wharf, we were set to drift over to the other side of the basin. But in those few minutes, drifting on the black calm, I sat atop the hatchboards, Fat George by my side, staring unblinkingly at the fire. Smoke billowed out towards us across the water, like a creeping fog.
Never thought I'd see such a thing.
No.
Firefighters are coming.
Good people of Rochdale, the water jets are on the way. In the meantime, stay back. We need the space for the horses. You want your cotton, don't you?
The cotton, getting as much of it out as they could. No talk of the people trapped in there. You, Harry, Paul. No one did stay back. They formed a line. Firefighters were paid for out of the company's insurance, but nobody else was. A line of people, townies, canal folk alike, lining up to pass buckets of water along. Reaching the other side of the basin brought me to my senses.
Pass me rope. We got to help.
Of course.
I looped the rope round the neddy and jumped up onto the wharf side, pulled with all my might. I tied the boat fast and helped Fat George up onto the wharf.
We cross over that end of basin. You see the bridge, eh?
Aye.
I go to set off with him, but Terry, looking back at the boat, and the door opens like I knew it would. Becca wouldn't sit there hiding, not when people needed help.
You? That lad? Is he with you?
No, he ran off.
No, I didn't.
Matthew, no, he'll take you.
Matthew Moorland.
George, we can talk this through after, but right now there's a fire needs fighting.
We hurried over the bridge and round to the courtyard at the front of the warehouse. Half the roof had come down, but the water jets had arrived and were doing their job. They'd got some of the bales away, and they was loaded up on carts. There was a few bodies and all, lined up, skin and clothes charred, and some walking wounded, being tended to by old women who had ointment for burns at the ready. One side of the warehouse wall was ready to collapse, and the fire captain made the decision to bring it down, controlled so it wouldn't fall outwards and let the fire spread to neighbouring warehouses. Team of horses standing by, chains being hooked up to the wall. It was then that Harry called out to me.
Liza!
He was sitting down, holding a wet flannel against one side of his face where he'd been burnt. Half his hair gone. I could see from the wildness in his eyes that the pain were driving him half mad. I still didn't know where you was, but somehow I knew you'd be all right. And for Harry, I only had one question.
Harry! Our Paul! Where's our Paul?
He ran ahead to the clerk's office. Then the fire spread so quick I couldn't get to it.
The office, where is it?
And Harry points to the corner of the building where the firefighters' horses are about to pull down the wall.
Men, each your captain, bring the horses in and secure the ropes.
Becca understands, a moment ahead of me, runs over.
Stop! Stop!
Oh, stand back,
My
girl.
brother is inside! You'll bring the lot down on top of him!
It's ready to fall, whatever we do.
And as I hurry forward to join Becca, I see that Matthew lad grab the wet flannel from Harry, wrap it round his face, and run into the warehouse.
Matthew, no!
Hold your horses, damn your eyes, hold them!
Time time all but stopped for me then. I stood and I blinked. Just once. It were like 1,000 years passed. Then my eyes were open and Matthew comes running out, bundled in his arms. Our Paul. Oh, thank you, lad, thank you. You man.
All that smoke. Paul's chests were never right after.
No, but he lived. He lived for years more. Made me and thee grandparents. All because of that runaway, that Matthew Morland.
Matthew Morland. I'd still like to thrash him now, though.
Weren't his fault Becca left. If you want to blame anyone, blame Fat George. After the fire, Matthew was a hero. Fat George could have rewarded him, turned a blind eye, let him stay on in Rochdale. Maybe even work the boats, but no. Sun coming up, fire out, but warehouse still smouldering. He stands there, spouting his rules and regulations.
You were in violation of a minimum of 40 rules in the Hollingworth Workhouse Code of Conduct. I've no choice but to take you back, lad.
Of course you have a choice. Mum, Dad, tell him.
I ain't going back.
Seems harsh.
Aye, let the boy be.
Well, you're going to take him in, are you?
We could blame ourselves and all.
Didn't have room or income enough to take him on.
No. I still wish we had, though. Oh, the look on Becca's face when we shake our heads, mumble our excuses. Disgust. That's the only word. Any respect she still had for us, it went there and then.
Mum! Dad!
In that case, I'm sorry, but the law's clear. You're coming back with me.
I ain't going nowhere with you,
The
puff
lad
guts.
bops that fat warden right on the nose, sends him staggering backwards. And he turns to our Becca.
And I already know what he's going to say to her.
I'm going London, Becca. Come with me.
Yes.
So I have her arm gripped hard before her legs had even thought about making off.
And Fat George, his nose still bleeding, wobbles to a stop. Draws himself up to his full height and there ain't no other word for it. Charges at Matthew. Matthew sprints off, Fat George in pursuit.
And Becca, poor Becca. It broke my heart to keep my old honour, to stop her running after. And it broke hers too.
When I were young and in me prime, as lazy as can be, I stepped on board a Mersey flatter number 23.
You have been listening to Scuttled, Episode 2, directed by James Steventon, starring Christopher Eccleston, Joyce Branagh, Becky Kershaw, Kimberley Cochrane, Jonathan Carley, Adam Grayson, Stephen Hillman, Annie Connell-Welsh and James Steventon, featuring Isabella Arrowsmith, Bailey Cockroft, Katie Rowan, Elliot Winterton, and the little voices of St Edward's Primary School, Rochdale. Title music by Jennifer Reid, with archaeological consultancy from Kelly Griffiths, based on archaeological excavations in Rochdale, England.
He said, now lad, be careful thou, well he not kettle off. Tha'd better frame and start pumping, for I think we've sprung a leak, and I wish I'd never gone boating for me living for to see.